Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the flock rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan. Welcome to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Minicamp is in full swing. We're in day 2 right now, and we're going to have to wait on some guys that we were excited about seeing. I dropped a video yesterday talking about who I was excited to see and which position battles I was excited to watch, and a couple of those guys aren't going to be practicing. That's Rashad Bateman, J.K. Dobbins, Pepe Williams, Jalen Armour-Davis. 4 names that I was excited to watch. I was excited to watch Bateman and that receiving core as a whole. I was excited to see Dobbins back on the field. And then I really wanted to see if Pepe Williams and Jalen Armour-Davis took some kind of leap, because I want to see where we're at corner. With the guys out there right now and with who we have available, I mean, we're pretty thin. So that rams home the point again that, like, we need to add a corner. I don't believe that any of those 4 players that I just mentioned have anything serious. Not even sure what's going on with J.K. Dobbins at all. He reported on Monday for the first day where they didn't take the practice field and they just shot some content and stuff, and he was there for that. And then Harbaugh said that everyone reported, but then he hasn't been practicing, so I was like, okay, it's his contract year. Is this like a holding in situation? It's a new thing in the league now because it's really hard to hold out because you get fined so much, so players show up but don't participate in the full team drills or drills that they believe they could potentially get hurt in. So I didn't know if JK was in a holding in type situation. I haven't seen any news about him getting actually injured or what specifically that injury is, but Todd Monken had a press conference today and was saying he'd love to have JK, but he's not able to be out there with us. So that's a vague statement. I don't know if that's just contract related things or if he's actually banged up again. I'm hoping it's just contract related things. Obviously missing minicamp without pads on and things like that. As long as you're kind of taking mental reps and understanding your assignment in the new offense, you don't really have to be out there till training camp, especially for a running back, because there's no pads on right now. I feel like JK knows what he's doing. So if he's just missing for contract-related things, I'm not that concerned about it. But if there's an undisclosed injury or if something's flaring up again, then I'm super concerned. J.K. Dobbins had one of the worst knee injuries and has been battling back. Had some issues with it again last year. Had surgery again to clear out that fluid. All signs pointed to him being 100% back this year. So if it's injury-related, I'm definitely concerned. But as far as I know, and I've scoured Twitter and the internet, I don't see any specific injury. I don't see anything from a valid source that's saying he's injured. I'm going to lean towards this being a strategic move to just save himself for when it really matters. Rashad Bateman will also not be at minicamp at all. He got a cortisone shot. He's still recovering from that foot injury, but Harbaugh said this was just to help with the healing process, and this was a part of his rehabilitation process all along. So there's nothing new there. Bateman didn't suffer a new injury. It's just going to be a slower ramp up back to full team than we probably anticipated. I'm not really concerned about that because I don't think there's anything new. I don't think that he re-injured himself or set himself back in any type of way. But it does suck. I mean, I want him out there with Lamar, with the new receiving core, with this new offense as much as possible because Bateman hasn't played a lot. Bateman and Lamar haven't had a ton of time. They kicked off last season absolutely on fire, both of them. And then Bateman went down for the rest of the season. And then Lamar went down for the rest of the season later. So there's been a lot of injuries. I don't like to see him missing, but this is a part of his rehabilitation process. So I got to live with it. it is what it is. I would hope that this means he's back full for training camp, just like Dobbins. So nothing too serious yet, but unfortunately, we won't see these guys for all of minicamp and then a month. So it's going to be until training camp that we see J.K. Dobbins and Rashad Bateman and Pepe Williams and Jalen Armour-Davis. Pepe Williams has an undisclosed injury, and Jalen Armour-Davis is doing individual drills. He's not ready for full team drills yet. Harbaugh said that they'll also be ramping him up. So I guess he's kind of in the Rashad Bateman line of be ready for training camp. And then not sure what's going on with Pepe Williams, undisclosed injury. Harbaugh said he's hopeful that he will be ready by the start of training camp. Pepe Williams told him that that's his goal, but Harbaugh also seemed a little shaky about it. But I can understand why Harbaugh seems not confident about it, because he's been kind of put through the ringer with injuries. I mean, how many times has he been like, oh, yeah, Lamar's got a couple-week injury, and then he's out for the year. So it's got to be hard being a coach because you're not a doctor. You're not in control of these decisions. So he thinks he'll be ready for the start of training camp, but we don't know. But regardless, it does suck that Pepe Williams and Jalen Armour-Davis, who are both core pieces to our cornerback depth, are not going to be participating in any of these early offseason activities. Hopefully we'll see them at training camp. They need to be on the field. Pepe Williams showed out last year. I definitely liked a lot of what I saw, but I don't know what this injury is. I don't like that he's battling injuries already. He's kind of a smaller player anyway, so this is not a good start. Jalen Armour-Davis didn't look great, and he got injured. So these two guys need to show up. These two guys need to stay healthy. I understand it's football, and it's, you can't control everything. I'm not blaming them at all. I'm just stating the fact of the situation is that this team is hurting at corner. I've been seeing highlights, and our Darius Washington's out there making some plays, and people have been talking about Trayvon Mullen. Lamar's excited that Trayvon Mullen's there, and one or two of those guys could step up out of the pack. But regardless, we're looking at a lot of mediocrity, in my opinion. Marlon Humphrey, Rock Ya-Sin, Brandon Stevens, Trayvon Mullen, Darius Washington, Caillou Blue Kelly, Pepe Williams, Jalen Armour-Davis. I mean, which names out of those are you really confident in? Marlon Humphrey? Maybe Rock Ya-Sin. Brandon Stevens, I think, is a nice hybrid, versatile role player. But, we don't have confidence in any of these other corners, and this league is a passing, explosive, quarterback, wide receiver type league, offensive league. I know we're going to have a good defense, but the cornerback situation's scaring me. I thought we were coming in with a ton of depth. Pepe Williams and Jalen Armour-Davis are battling some things. They're not even participating. This just screams that we need to add another corner. I mean, I think that's the biggest hole on this team. And it's an important hole. We've experienced thin cornerback rooms before, and you have one big starter go down, such as a Marlon Humphrey. All the wheels fall off, and the opposing quarterback's throwing for 4 to 6 touchdowns. It just can't happen. It can't happen. It can't happen at all. So add another corner, but hopefully these guys get back on the field. I want to see if they can take a leap. It's going to be harder now that they're not having a full offseason and Pepe Williams is hurt again. It's going to be hard to level up your game when you're not on the field or you're not 100%. I hope all these guys heal soon. I want to see them out there. I want to see this full team with everyone slotted in, where the coaches can just get to work, the players can get to work. I'm hopeful for this season. It's not all bleak just because we're not seeing these guys right now. We're just going to have to wait another month. Training camp will be here before we know it. But that's it for this video, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. I'll see you guys next time.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.